Hello there folks, and a very warm welcome back to What's for Tea. It's lovely to see you all again, so thanks for joining me for this amazing bread recipe. Nothing smells better than freshly baked bread from the oven, in my opinion. So I'm just going to show you how I make this sliced sandwich bread, and as usual, all of the ingredients as I use them will be on the screen, but I'll also leave them underneath the video in the description box. So I've got some strong white bread flour, I've got some milk and also some water, I've got salt and also sugar, I've got some quick acting yeast, and then some room temperature soft unsalted butter. This is the yeast that I'm using here. Anything like this will work, you know, rapid yeast, whatever you have. So with the milk and the water, we want to combine these in a jug and then just pop it into the microwave for about 20 seconds to go lukewarm. You know, when you stick your finger in, it's nice and warm. You don't want this scorching hot or boiling, just nice and warm. And then to that, we're going to add the rapid yeast. So just pour that in, then we're going to stir that around with a fork or a spoon or whatever you have to hand. Set that to the side for about 10 to 15 minutes, just until it's starting to go foamy or bubbly on the top. And then you can turn your attention to your dry ingredients. So that's my strong bread flour. And then to that, I'm going to add the sugar and also the salt. I'm using sea salt, but use whatever salt you prefer. So pop those in, and then again, you just want to mix everything through. I'm using a whisk, but use a spoon or a fork or whatever you like. Now I'm going to use my stand mix with the bread hook attachment. If you don't have one of these, don't worry about it. You can easily do this in a bowl with a wooden spoon. Just mix everything in and then give it a gentle knead by hand. So not a problem if you don't have one of these machines. I'm just using mine because I have one and it's a lot quicker. So the first thing I'm going to do is pop in my dry ingredients, and I'm just going to set my machine to a very low speed to begin with. And then to that, I'm going to add the milk, the water and the yeast mixture in a couple of different places just to make sure it's nice and even. So let your machine go for about 5 minutes. And it will collect all of the ingredients up and make them lovely and stretchy and smooth, and everything will collect around about that dough hook. So once you're at this stage, you can pop in your butter. Now this is completely optional, but it's going to give you a nice rich bread. So I'm going to pop in 2 tablespoons of room temperature soft unsalted butter. Because there's salt in there already, you know, you don't need to add salted butter. So let that go for about another 3 or 4 minutes, and the butter will find its way into the dough, and you should have something that looks like this. It's lovely and smooth and stretchy, and it shouldn't be too sticky, you know, it shouldn't be sticking to your hands or anything. So give it a quick knead on your counter and then shape this into a ball. I like just to cup it in my hands and pull the dough underneath, and it will give you a nice stretch on the top and make it lovely and smooth, just like this. And then you want to grab yourself a large bowl, pop a wee bit of oil in there and rub that around about the inside of your bowl, and then plop your dough ball inside. Cover this again and leave this in a nice cosy draft-free spot for between an hour and an hour and a half, and it will double in size, so make sure you've got a nice large bowl. These are the covers that I'm using here for my bowls and my jug that I was using earlier. You can find these on Amazon, but in the UK, if you're in the UK, you're better buying them from Lakeland because they're just so much cheaper. But if you're outside the UK, you can find these on Amazon. And this is the tin that I'm using here. This is a 900 gram tin or a 2-pound loaf. You just want to make sure that's greased with butter. So this will be your dough when it's proved. So it's almost doubled in size, as you can see there, and it's full of gas. So you want to get the gas out of your dough. I just like to punch mine because it feels nice. And then you want to tip your dough onto your work surface. Make sure it's lightly floured because it will be a wee bit stickier at this point. And again, just give it a gentle knead to get rid of any extra gas that there might be. Shape this into a rectangle. Now I wanted a nice square sandwich loaf, so I've rolled mine up quite loosely, but if you like a nice domed loaf, when it comes to rolling this up, roll it up nice and tightly, and that will give you a really high dome on the top. But like I said, I wanted mine quite square, so I've left mine nice and loose. So once you've got your log, you just want to pop this into your tin, pop a wee bit of extra flour on the top, and again pop this into your cosy draft free spot. Cover this with a loose damp tea towel, and leave that again for about 45 minutes to an hour. And again, it will double in size. It'll go from that to that in that time. And look at the size of this. I was really happy with this. And I've just popped another wee bit of flour on top before I bake it. So give this between 30 and 40 minutes in the oven at gas mark 4 or 180°C. And this is what you should have. But like I said, I have rolled mine up quite loosely. So I've got a nice square loaf. If you want the nice domed top, make sure when it comes to rolling your log up, you do it nice and tightly. Let this cool down for a few minutes before you attempt to cut it. Mine was still piping hot and you can see the steam coming out there, but this does, it does cut really nicely and evenly. This is perfect for the toaster at this point, but if you're intending on using this for sandwiches, I would let this cool down completely, and this will last for a couple of days. It'll be nice and fresh for a couple of days. After that, you're going to be using it for toast. So yeah, it just depends how long bread lasts in your household. Bread like this does not last very long here at all, but it was absolutely delicious, very easy to make as well, and you get lots of slices. So do let me know if you're planning on giving that one a go. Like I said, the smell was absolutely insane. It's one of my favourite smells, fresh baked bread. But just before I leave you, I wanted to say, as usual, a huge thank you to the supporters of the channel over my Patreon page and to the channel members here on YouTube as well. And I will be updating those wee lists at some point in the next week. So if your name isn't there, don't panic, because I do get emails when people join my Patreon or channel membership to say their name isn't there. But I do update them every couple of weeks. So I will catch up with you during the week for another wee recipe, back on Sunday for our meals of the week, or back on Saturday for our shopping and bagging. But whenever you choose to join me again, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you off soon back here on What's for Tea. Bye now.